Pittsburgh hadn't lost on Monday night since 1991.
No,
how crazy is that?
We're not getting embarrassed on national TV. What are you talking about?
You know what's funny? We're sitting there watching the game, and I told my wife, now we've been together, married 30 years, been together for 32. I said, they have not lost a Monday night game at home since before we were together. And she said, what? I said, 1991. I said, we weren't together till 92.
I don't know what's more impressive. That kind of win streak on Monday Night Football, or somebody being able to put up with your ass for 30 straight years?
Oh, easy. Her being able to put up with my ass is more impressive than that win streak.
Welcome to Six Rings and Counting. I'm your host, Corey Idle, and joining me as always, my man, Mr. Lou Willard. Doctor, how we doing?
Man, 6-2.
I tell you what, man, coming off this week, big win against the Giants, 26-18. A lot of positive things in this game, and I'll tell you why. The Giants don't know they're not supposed to be any good. And they played hard. And as Lou alluded to last week, this is a game we will traditionally lose.
Yeah, this is it, except for the fact it's Monday night. Pittsburgh hadn't lost on Monday night since 1991.
No,
how crazy is that?
We're not getting embarrassed on national TV. What are you talking about?
You know what's funny? We're sitting there watching the game, and I told my wife, now we've been together, married 30 years. Been together for 32. I said, they have not lost a Monday night game at home since before we were together. And she said, what? I said, 1991. I said, we weren't together till 92.
I don't know what's more impressive. That kind of win streak on Monday Night Football, or somebody being able to put up with your ass for 30 straight years?
Oh, easy. Her being able to put up with my ass is more impressive than that win streak.
And there we go. Stats for the game. Team stats. Total yards for the Steelers, 426. Passing yards, 259. 167 rushing yards, 6.8 yards per play. 20 first downs, 6 of 13 on third down. 63 total plays. 4 sacks allowed. Don't like that. 3 punts. 5 penalties, 50 yards. 1 fumble lost. First time that's happened in a minute. And this was insane, Lou. We lost the time of possession. 29-18 to 30-42, and we can chalk that up to a punt return.
And we didn't get any early turnovers.
Yep.
So the punt return takes a possession away. No early turnovers. The 2 turnovers we got was at the end of the game. Turned them over twice in the fourth quarter. But I was very pleased with the way things went. The most impressive stat of all of this is 6.8 yards of play.
Yes, sir.
2 plays first down, 2 plays first down. But you still have to score touchdowns, which brings up something that we talked about before we actually started the show. We got to change some rules around here. 2 feet is 2 feet. So you're telling me an amputee could never play in the NFL because he'll never get 2 feet down.
Yep. NFL is discriminatory.
It's discriminatory.
Not that we didn't know that.
I did not. My joke was bad enough. We would probably need to edit it out. But nonetheless, I did not know that rule. You know, my wife said, why is that not touchdown? I said, I have no idea. He got 2 feet down.
Yeah.
I didn't know it had to be 2 different feet. But you can get a foot and an elbow, a foot and a forearm. A shin constitutes as 2 feet. But you can't put the same foot down twice. And it wasn't like he tapped it twice. It was boom. Dude tried to carry him out. He put his foot back down. It should be a touchdown.
Basically,
that is one of that rule will be changed in the offseason because of that play.
Yeah, if you're wanting to know what the inbounds rules for the NFL are, by the game Twister, and just read the rule book in that, because that's essentially what they're playing by. It's Twister rules.
It was ridiculous. Absurd. So like this game is 9-9 at halftime. And I'm saying, if you just look at the score, you think the game is boring. There was 3 touchdowns called back.
Yeah.
Whether they called it incomplete or whether it was penalties. This game should have been a 21-10 game at halftime. Like, it was an exciting game. The Giants came to win. They didn't come to play. They came to win. I mean, our defense got some work to do. I mean, they exposed them in some areas where we can do a lot of work, and going into this bye week, we're going to have to get that work done.
Yeah, that's an interesting point you're bringing up here with the defense, because what I've seen the last couple weeks with Russ under center is a very confident, honed in offense. Najee Harris is racking off 100-yard games like it's his job, because it is. And the offense just looks smooth. Everybody's in their position. And I think you and I have talked off camera a little bit about Anthony Richards versus Joe Flacco. And the difference.
Which they just made that change.
Exactly. And the difference in that passing offense. And as a receiver, when Joe Flacco's in the game, when you're supposed to hit that spot, if you're open, that ball's going to be there. That spot, you don't have to adjust. You're not going to have to make movements. He's going to put that ball where it needs to be. That's what I'm seeing with the difference between Russ and the offense looking under Justin Fields. Under Justin, it was a little more chaotic, and I know a lot of new moving pieces, new season, yada, yada. However, Russ has this offense humming to the point now where we have to look at the defense and we're going, we're giving up a lot of chunk yards here.
And there's a couple things as you bring all that up. We're talking while we're watching the game Monday night. And I told my wife, I said, look, this is why Russell's starting and Justin Fields isn't. Even though that pass was not complete, Justin Fields would have never thrown it. I said he wouldn't have thrown it because the guy wasn't open.
Right.
Russ will give him a chance to get open and use his athleticism to make a play. 100%. Justin Fields is still learning that. Okay. Now, when we look to the defensive side of the ball, guess what we are going to do now? We're going to give up more chunk plays. We're going to give up more yards. You know why? Because we score more points. So if we're putting up points on people, what do they have to do? They have to throw for chunk yards. They have to score more points. They have to produce more on offense. When we're only beating them 13-6, they don't have to do a lot. All they got to do is try to get 14. When you're scoring 37, 32, 20, 26, they got to score. So your defense is going to give up more points. Now, what's going to help that out too? Guess what? We got a bye week. And during that bye week, Cam Sutton has already been reinstated. And this defense just got that much better.
Yes, sir.
That much better. Feel about him how you want to feel about him off the field. But if he's playing, I'm rooting for him, just like I am every player in the NFL.
That's it. So what does a player like Cam Sutton, are there different packages he can bring to the table? Like, I mean, can you maybe have a one safety package now and bring in an extra linebacker because Cam Sutton is so good at his position versus Beanie Bishop, who is playing excellent, but still not Cam Sutton level? Or you know what I mean? Or is Cam Sutton going to bring a better blitz package in maybe? What are we looking at here with Cam?
Beanie Bishop will look even better because you can move him to the slot. Your corners are Porter and Sutton. Both of them one of them is a shutdown corner.
Yes.
JPJ. Sutton has that same ability to be a shutdown corner. And then you got Beanie Bishop in the slot with Elliott and Jackson. And not to mention Mika, who they still got to get closer to the line, but that's a whole nother argument. But you can play, your nickel defense is as solid as your run-based defense because those same guys I mentioned will also tackle. So you can be in the nickel and still tackle the other team's running game based on the way our defensive line is playing, because Highsmith and TJ Watt completely wrecked that game for the Giants. Completely wrecked it. They had pressure on Daniel Jones from the word go. That kid was on the run. And to his credit, he played a really good game.
Yes, he
because
did.
they still haven't blocked Highsmith. He's running all around that tackle. They still ain't blocked him. But when you got that coming back, I'm real curious to see. We got to have we will say, I mean, it'll be next week's show when we talk about the Commanders since we're on the bye.
Sure.
But they're going to have to work on a very disciplined rush to keep Jaden Daniels inside that pocket. But you got 2 weeks to prepare for it. You got a guy coming back. Washington doesn't have the receivers, but I'll get back to this game. Malik Neighbors, I told him, I was sitting there watching and going, they got to guard this kid because he's good. They're going to throw the ball to him 15 times. I think he had, 13 targets or something?
Yeah.
I said, they're going to pepper him the ball because he is that good. And we held up, and this isn't going to be easy because Pittsburgh isn't great. But I tell you what they are pretty good. They are good. And Russ has made a difference.
100%. I think
he has made a huge difference.
I would go so far as to say they're a pretty good team with Justin under quarterback. I think they are a very good team with Russ under center, especially with just 2 games played. That's what nobody is really talking about is this team looks this good after 2 games with a brand new quarterback to the system.
That hadn't played in 10 months. Hadn't played. He got benched last year over money. He got benched over money last year is why he got benched. He didn't get benched. He had 26 touchdowns and 8 picks. Okay. He got benched because of his contract. And they now, who have you seen in the AFC that looks better than them the way they've played the last, I even say 4 weeks, 3-4 weeks, probably last 3 weeks. You could say even though the Ravens lost, you could say the Ravens, but we know that history. Pittsburgh got them 8-1 the last 9, which you could also go to mean the Ravens are due. Right. Then I'm sorry, I know the Chiefs don't look great, but until somebody beat the Chiefs, that's the best team in the AFC. I don't care. I know they 7-0 or 8-0, whatever they are, but nonetheless, until somebody beat them in the playoffs, that's the best team in the AFC. The Bills don't scare me, even though they're starting to ratchet it up a little bit. But no team in the AFC scares you now.
No.
About 4 weeks ago, you could go, if we can avoid them and them, we could get there. But nobody scares you now because Russ has brought that. He's calmed the whole situation down. This is back-to-back games where he's had 3 completions of over 30 yards. Well, he had 2 of over 30, 1 of 29. That's close enough. So he's opened up the long ball, which has opened up Najee.
Yep.
I mean, so with the offense moving the ball like this, who are you afraid to go play? You got to get out to AFC. They got to get to the AFC Championship game. We'll worry about the Super Bowl way down the road. Right now, we got to win a damn playoff game.
Well, that's the first step for sure.
And you got a shot. I mean, it's like wrestling. We're long-term booking right now. Long-term booking. You have a pathway to the number 1 seed and a bye because you play the Chiefs. You just need somebody else to beat the Chiefs. And mark my words, guess who's going to beat them? Famous Jameis slinging that ball around in Cleveland. They going to mess around and beat the Chiefs. It'll be them. Then all Pittsburgh got to do is handle business.
Well, that depends if the Chiefs salary cap still has to take on the officiator or the referees payments, or if the NFL is going to start doing that again. It just really depends because did
you see the roughing penalty call?
It's obscene, and they don't even care anymore. That everybody knows they just don't care.
But they're a lot like the Patriots. When the Patriots was winning all the time, you have to beat them.
Yes.
You got to go beat them.
That's it.
Look, I know it was a bad call. It was a horrendous call. It was terrible. But every team gets bad calls against them. Every team. Pittsburgh just had an atrocious call against them. It was a touchdown. That game should have never been that close. But guess what? It didn't count. So it is what it is. You have to beat the Patriots. Or I'm sorry, the Chiefs, like you had to beat the Patriots. And until you do, it is what it is. But the Ravens, The Ravens can get them. The Bills can get them. The Texans might be too banged up. They just lost Stephon Diggs to a torn ACL. Came out this morning as we record. He tore his ACL. Is done. Nico Collins still isn't back. So Texas might be hurting a little bit. But now all of a sudden, with their pass rush, defense, Cam back, Pittsburgh's running game, that's going to be a very interesting game on Christmas Day because the Chiefs bringing something that they hadn't had traditionally is an ass pocket full of defense.
Well,
the defense won them the Super Bowl last year, and they got better. And now these fools went and picked up D-Hop, and now they just traded for a linebacker from New England.
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to be an interesting case. And I mean, look, all jokes aside, unless Pat Freiermuth starts dating Beyonce, who's probably the only bigger star than Taylor Swift, I don't think there's much of a chance. So fingers crossed, but on paper, on everything I'm seeing, the Steelers are a much better team all the way around. And you can add D-Hop and you can add these guys, and it'll help. But also, here's what I look. The ball's only going to go to so many guys on the Chiefs, right? If DeAndre Hopkins is going to beat us, so be it. Travis Kelce is not going to beat us. That running game for the Chiefs is not going to beat us. We can score with anybody.
And when you bring up Kelce, that's the benefit of having Cam Sutton back.
Yes,
because you can stick a bigger cornerback on Kelce and stick Beanie back outside and you don't miss a beat.
Exactly.
So you have people to guard him. What the Chiefs have on their side, and I'm telling you from experience, when you're used to winning, you fully expect to win. I don't care what the scoreboard say. I don't care how the game is going. You look for it to go your way. And they coach like that and they play like that. And then you have the other end of that where you're the Cleveland Browns, or the Jacksonville Jaguars and go, okay, we up, but what's going to go wrong now?
Exactly.
Those are two totally different mindsets. But if Pittsburgh can handle their business, the second half of their schedule is arguably the toughest schedule in the league.
Oh, it's insane.
But, if Cleveland comes to life, it's going to be really tough. Other than that, you look for them to split with the Bengals like they do, split with the Ravens like they do. So you just start counting games to get you to the division. You get the division, you get the home game in the playoffs. Sure. And that can be huge for Pittsburgh. But you got to start with getting Herbig back this week during this off week. You got to get Cordero Patterson back. Even though our return game still ran a punt back. I'm glad my guy Calvin Austin, because people been telling me, man, you keep talking about Calvin Austin, he ain't done nothing. I'm like, the kid is dynamic. He just hopefully this breaks him loose. But if you have him and Cordero back in our return game, it's going to be crazy. Pittsburgh's blocking kicks, returning punts for touchdown. This is getting crazy. I'm starting to get a little excited while trying to maintain my optimism.
And I tell you what, since we're doing a little halfway point progress report with our bye week here, Calvin Austin's the guy that's been coming on. And you can see it when the defense starts to adjust more for George Pickens. Calvin Austin is exposing whoever is guarding him. It might not be, the huge 50-yard bomb, but his speed makes everything the potential 50, 60-yard play. He is so fast, and his hands are getting better. His route running has improved so much over the course of this season so far. It's unbelievable. He is introducing himself to this league, and he is working his way into a nice payday coming up.
In his speed, you know what the speed also does? It keeps their safety off our line of scrimmage making tackles because he has to back up. He has to back up. And now there's been some changes, like you've seen Deontay Johnson just got traded to the Ravens. So that doesn't really concern me because Pittsburgh knows him. They got rid of him for a reason. They know how to take him out of the game. And the Ravens still ain't throwing the ball. But why throw it when you don't have to? They don't have to throw it a lot.
The only thing that gets me about the Ravens, because I think they've been exposed as well over the last couple weeks, their defense is not good.
It's not great.
Nope.
What they thrive on is the ability to run that ball and keep it from you.
Yep.
And then make plays on defense at the right time and get out the situation. Now, they'll kill the Broncos this week, even though the Broncos are a lot better than when the Steelers played them. Mm-hmm. It turned out, Bo Nix, who we liked.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I liked him anyway, coming out of college, because hell, he was 32. So he had the experience. But he's starting to come around, and they're starting to look like a formidable opponent. But the Ravens, this is going to be interesting. This division is nowhere near decided. Nowhere near decided. Because Cleveland can't win it, but they can muck it up.
Oh, yeah. I think the Bengals are, frankly, in the same position. I don't think they can hang.
The Bengals can't win it.
No. But you talked about it earlier, our upcoming schedule. We'll just run through this real quick here.
Mm-hmm.
We got our bye week, obviously. Then we go Commanders, Ravens at home. We go to Cleveland, to Cincinnati. Go back. The Browns come back to Pittsburgh. Then we go to Philadelphia. My gosh. Then to Baltimore. Then we get the Chiefs at home, and then we get the Bengals at home to end the season. You want to talk about a tough schedule? And yeah, we're talking like the Commanders. What was their biggest weakness at the earlier part of the season? It was their pass defense. Not anymore. They decided they're going to play some defense. Ravens are getting exposed a little bit. The Browns all of a sudden have some competent quarterback play. They're coming around. The Bengals, if they're healthy, they'll score with anybody in the league. Philadelphia's figured out their offense. The Chiefs are always going to win because they got Taylor Swift and the referee crew. I mean, man, this is a murderer's row, bro.
It really is, but Pittsburgh should very well beat the Commanders coming off of a bye week. I understand it's in Washington.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the nation's capital. But Pittsburgh is a way more physical team, and the Commanders' defense is still not great. Then you come back against the Ravens, flip a coin. It's at home, so Pittsburgh probably will win it. If not, they'll beat them in Baltimore. But they will probably win the home game. Odds are they'll lose in Cleveland. You're playing the Ravens, then you got a short week in Cleveland. Just look at the Thursday night games. The home teams are usually winning those games.
Yep.
So that's a hard game. But the game I could tell you right now they're going to win is week 13 at the Bengals. You coming off of a mini bye. You got a mini bye. And we talked about this when we did the Bengals show earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
The Bengals are not physical enough. How did the Eagles beat them? They ran over top of them. They just, whenever they wanted to, they just lined up and just ran at them. And then they threw some balls, but then they lined up and ran at them. The Bengals were not physical enough like we predicted. Pittsburgh will beat the Browns back at home. The last couple of times we've been to Philadelphia to play, we've been blown out. I mean, at game over at halftime.
Mm-hmm.
Like blown out. Completely blown out. So they got to show up, and who knows how that game's going to go. But then, you got the Ravens. There we go again with the Ravens. You know what it's going to be. The Chiefs at Christmas, Pittsburgh should win that game on Christmas. Then who knows what's going to happen that last game? If the division is already won, Pittsburgh's not going to play anybody. So that game we're way too far out for that. Hell, we're way too far out for any of these games, really. But that last game, Pittsburgh may not need to play anybody, or they may have to win to win the division. It depends on what they can do inside the division against the Ravens, and then what these same division teams, mainly the Ravens, do with their remaining schedule. Because the Ravens are not going to have an easy schedule either, because they won the division last year, so you're playing everybody else's top teams.
Well, I tell you what, we're sitting 6-2 atop the division. Ravens are right behind us at 5-3. Then you got the trailers in Ohio, 3-5 for the Bengals, 2-6 for the Browns. This is what I would suggest every Steelers fan do this weekend, because it's our bye week. It's going to be nice and relaxing. Go out, get you a big turkey, get you a whole set of fixings for the sides, and make this Sunday your Thanksgiving dinner. Because the next couple months are going to be brutal and nerve-wracking, and you're not going to have much of an appetite through these games. So stock up now.
But I tell you what, man, and we had competent quarterback play with Justin Fields, but now we have winning experienced quarterback play with Russell Wilson. And it's going to make a difference. Like Pittsburgh, all of a sudden, we score. Wait a minute. We haven't scored this many points in a 3-week span since 2016. I believe it was 2016. It's crazy. So now they put everybody on notice. It's like, oh, you just don't have to get 17 points on that defense. No, you got to get 27 to have a chance. And that's where we are. So I like it. I like the way they look. Arthur Smith has opened it up, unlike I thought he was going to do. So to this point of the season, I've been pretty much 50-50 on Arthur Smith because I was right in the first half because he wouldn't open it up. But now since Russ has come, you've seen a different offense. You've seen us push the ball down the field. You've seen some different plays, and he's opened it up. He's actually spread the ball around and given it to his star players, unlike he did in Atlanta. So he's given us a shot. We're on our fourth center. The fourth center. And people talking about they got injuries. Man, this the fourth center. It's crazy. And they look good, though. They look good. So it's going to be interesting down the stretch, but they need to get a couple. If they can get Herbert back, if they get a couple more people back, they should be able to go into Washington and win that game. It's going to be a good game, though, because that kid Washington has, and we'll talk about it on next week's show, is the real deal.
Oh, yeah, he's as legit as they come.
But what I
went back and did watch some of our earlier shows, preseason shows. I did predict Washington coming in second in that division behind Philadelphia because Jaden Daniels is going to be legit.
You're probably wrong because they probably win it.
Yeah, you're right.
So you wrong and you picked them second, and it ain't because they're gonna finish third or fourth. God. But you tell me I'm wrong like we're married. You love to say it, even when I'm right. I'm wrong. We might as well be. But I tell you what, he better learn to slide. Remember, I kept telling you that about Anthony Richardson
and Tua. You that's right.
You better learn to slide.
Learn to slide, kids. Learn to slide. I'll tell you, we'll end the show with this. If things keep going the way they've been going for the Steelers, the only downside is I got to keep this mustache growing until they actually start failing. So that's a problem. However, Arthur Smith saw me grow this.
You tickets.
He saw me grow this mustache and knew his job was in trouble.
He'll get you some tickets, sideline tickets.
That's it. We look like brothers. For Lou Willard, I'm Corey Idle. Have a joyful bye week, my friends. We are leading the division. We look fantastic. And I haven't seen Lou this happy in decades.
And go Broncos. We need another game up.
Yes, sir. For Lou Willard, I'm Corey Idle. This is Six Rings and Counting.